Welcome to the Real Estate Rundown. We're going to start today with some breaking news from Riz Media. So they have some early findings of the commission settlement and how that is impacting commission rates. And if you're a real estate agent, I have some bad news for you. Since August 17th, we are already seeing a drop in commission by 68 basis points. So how does that break down? In 2023 to 2024, prior to August 17th, the average commission was 5.64%. And now from August 17th to October 7th, in that early period, we've already experienced a drop to an average of 4.96%.
Gosh, so I mean, for clarity, right? Those that don't know basis points, we're talking would you say 68 basis points?
Correct.
So that's just under 3/4 of a percent, right? 0.68 of a percent is essentially what that would equate to. But gosh, so we're already talking about almost 3/4 of a 1%.
Big drop, guys. So there's some other findings before we chop this up. Let me just share that equates to about a $1,561 loss per transaction. And they have noted that newer buyer agents are getting hit the hardest. So theirs has dropped by 76 basis points from 2.58% to 1.82%. That's on the buy side. And there is also a geographical trending to this commission and the changes. And what we've learned is that if you're in the Northeast, you've been impacted the least by the commission drops, with only about 1/4% loss, while those in the West are experiencing a greater loss at about 0.4%. So we also, here's something also super interesting. Agents are feeling the squeeze. The agents are anticipating that that commissions are going to drop more, and part-time agents have been hit the highest, as well as agents who do not work in an office at least one day a week.
Are they getting hit, or are they just taking less?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. They're taking less. So those were kind of
going like, hey, work with me and I'll only charge you 2% or
exactly
1.5%.
So those were some of the top findings.
They're trying to use that as their value proposition, right?
Charge less.
Which that's the way it should
for
be.
Cheaper.
Well, I think it's always really irritated us that an agent fresh out of school can make the same amount, or it was just the standard offering. And whatever that standard offering was to where if you just got your license yesterday or you'd been a professional for 20 years, you were paid the same. And that kind of always chapped my hide.
It has always been a hide chapping situation because, I mean, again, let's face it.
Situation.
Hide chapping situation. I mean, because let's face it, a very experienced agent completed, hundreds, thousands of transactions. It just brings a little bit more value to somebody who's on their 10th transaction, right? I mean, how do you navigate a rocky inspection period? How do you navigate very high interest rates and negotiating terms that are favorable so the payment makes sense, right? These are all things that a pro with this type of experience is going to put that buyer in a better financial position, most cases, than somebody who has less experience.
So do you think buyers are interviewing several agents and and some of them are going like, oh, I'll take this one. This one's gonna only charge me 2% or 1.5%, or this person's only going to charge me this person's charging me 3%.
I doubt it. I don't think that's happening yet.
I think consumer behavior is going to maintain there.
Doesn't it have to, because it's going lower? So if it wasn't, then wouldn't
it just be because of the rule and agents are pushing back / sellers on how much commission to pay out on the contract?
Sellers are going like, no, we're only going to pay you 2% on this.
Yep. My guess is that's probably more or less what's happening. But I mean, I don't know.
If they had an agreement with the buyer, wouldn't the buyer be coming up with the extra, or are buyer's agents just saying, okay, you don't have to pay me the extra, I'll just take what the seller is giving me?
From the agreements that I see, I'm not seeing that buyer's agents are asking for any additional compensation. It's all built in on whatever new forms have been created because of this rule per state. And they're asking specifically for the seller, like one that was received that I was reviewing today, literally says the buyer to pay them 0, seller to pay them 2.5.
Well, and remember, on a lot of these new forms, the buyer can come in and say, Kayla, I'm going to show you properties. My fee is 3%. we're going to do this, and I'm going to negotiate the deal. I can always lower this, but I'm going to have to ask for 3% right now. And I don't want you to come out of pocket. We're going to negotiate this, right? So they may have their agreement at 3%. They can lower it, but they can't raise it. So
Yeah, if you have a buyer,
I think they are having those conversations.
If you have a buyer that paid part of their commission and then you have it on a settlement statement, I would love to see it.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. So if you're listening and you recently worked with a buyer and your buyer paid some of your commission, we want to see it.
Yeah, I would love to see it
right,
because I just don't think it's happening.
We just closed on one in
did we get
Thicket Trails at Florida?
Yeah.
That we only paid 2.1 something percent. And I asked our agent, I was like, how did that even happen? And she explained to me, I don't remember off the top of my head. And then the buyer's agent paid the rest.
The buyer's agent?
I'm sorry, the buyer
paid the rest.
Yeah, they got debited on the settlement statement.
So you saw it on the settlement
or whatever?
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. So how much was it?
Buyers
that's pretty rare.
Give me an idea of purchase price.
It's only been
like 215,000.
Okay, so we're talking like less than $2,000.
It was like 2,000.
Yeah, so nothing.
They paid. It was right around the same or more than what we were doing. So like,
interesting.
So
well, there you go.
So
it is happening.
The
buyers are paying their own commission.
But that's the first one I've seen.
But remember that for clarity, it wasn't even a whole percent, or it was the same percentage.
Man, I've literally reviewed 3 closings already, and I'm spacing. So
well,
yeah,
okay,
I think the takeaway is that we do see it occasionally. It's just not as common. It's more common for the seller to pay that. And we also uncovered in this new commission report that nearly a third of agents have already shifted their business to working with sellers. And so there is a long-term pivot happening in this space, which we've been talking about for, frankly, years on how just shifting to a seller-based business makes the most sense. So giving a little plug here to Zoodealio, to our home report, to leading with the cash offer hook. If you're not already implementing those strategies in your business, please check us out. We'd love to share how you can really amplify your listing side. But I think that there's a lot of confusion still. We talked about the consumer. There's still a lot of confusion from consumers in even having to sign an agreement with the buyer's agent.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that don't even know about the changes, right? Like, I mean, I know it's been out since August, right? Since it was official. A lot of people, June, July before in California. So that's at best, let's just round up and say 6 months. So they're oblivious to some of these changes. And now the house they bought 10 years ago or 8 years ago, they didn't have to do it this way. So then now they're all skittish.
Chris, are we good on sound? Okay. You're just holding those.
Yeah, I just didn't want to bend over.
Okay.
And, not fall on the board.
Gotcha. I just wanted to make sure we were, because you were looking at a camera as I was
do we
making
need to
sure.
get you a longer cord so you don't break your back?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, that'd be great.
And maybe
actually,
a little extra space. So we've been doing this podcast. How long, guys? 4 years? 3 years?
Yeah, I think we were on our 4th year. I think.
Well, yeah, we started in 2020, right?
We for sure started before COVID.
Yeah, it was pandemic podcasting from Zoom.
Yep.
In our houses, we were all isolating, working
And a couple
from
here
home.
in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
met up a couple
before
times
the pandemic.
when all the shenanigans was still happening.
Okay, so we've been at this for a few years, and we are cramped in this teeny tiny little room, and we built out a big room. It's been sitting there vacant for 2 months,
maybe even longer.
3
2 months.
months.
Yeah, we're waiting for Chris to set it up.
Yeah, so hopefully we have a
Come on,
new
Chris.
awesome studio type amazing set coming, right?
Yeah, maybe coming soon.
$100,000 studio for $15,000, right?
Yeah, we don't run ads on this podcast, so we got to do it on a
A shoestring.
Yep, on a little budget.
Yeah, but so the commission findings, I'm surprised. 68 basis points in not even 2 full months of data. Wow.
That's shocking to me because I'm not seeing it all across the country but I mean, we're not talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of reviews of transactions at this point, but the ones that we're seeing, I mean, it's easily 2.5 on average.
And some of them are taking 3, right? And some of them are demanding 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so so let's break this down a little bit more, just because you do have such a great look versus probably most of the listeners out there. What are you seeing? I would assume they're coming in and saying, "Hey, pay my buyers representation fee of X%," right?
Yeah, if I were to put a percentage on it, I would say easily over half of it's 3% most of the time. And then I go back and forth with the buyer, with our listing agent at the time, and we try to negotiate that down. Been pretty successful overall, about 2.5, which I think is more than fair. And then, but when I get to see the agreements, and these agreements are essentially just asking for the sellers to pay it. I don't see an agreement unless they don't have to provide it, that the buyer is
agreeing to pay.
Yeah, and then when I see the settlement statements, literally the one we were just talking about a second ago, that's the first one I've seen since the commission.
But does it have an
change.
amount on the agreement though?
No,
Yes.
It's usually just a percentage.
Yeah, that's it.
Percentage,
yeah.
yeah.
But
they're making
on
it
the
a part of the
3%,
con-
does it say 3% on them?
Yes.
They're making it a part of the contract, right?
Because I mean, like I would say 90% of them of commissions when it was the old system was 2.5%.
I know.
And now
People
there
are
are some
asking
people
for
are getting
more.
Asking for
greedier. And they're going like, no, it's 3%. And
Yeah,
they're
you're gonna
going
make
back
me
from
ask
that
for it.
2.5% and taking 2.5% to going to 3%.
But
That's
it's obviously,
exactly what
it's
I was
not,
trying
it's
to
not
get at.
sticking. It's not sticking.
It's
though.
not sticking.
And like we were talking about it pre-podcast, it's like not only are agents coming in and asking for 3%, but their buyers are also, offering these really low offers. They're asking for concessions. They want everything, including top dollar on their buy side commission.
I thought one of the new things that was allowed, at least here in Arizona, was that you were allowed to ask for that agreement that you have with your buyer. Like, so as a listing agent, to prove what the commission is that needs to be paid.
It's California. California is
Okay.
including that
Okay.
compensation agreement with the buyer. In Arizona, no.
Okay.
And in fact, if you're in Arizona, and I'm a broker here, I would say do not share that. That would not be a good thing.
I
to
know.
share.
I'm almost just thinking to myself, right? Like, let's say that you meet somebody in an open house. Hey, I won't sign this for more than 1.5%. You come in and do a transaction. You ask for 2.5%. They say, okay, we agree. And then if they found out on that 1.5%, that's what would have to be executed.
No, in that scenario you just outlined, the way that it reads here in Arizona is that extra percent would go to the buyer for closing costs.
Okay.
So if you negotiate higher than your signed compensation agreement, whatever that difference is, goes to the buyer.
So that's what I'm saying is the buyer finds
But
out
they would
about
have to
that.
be
they'd
honest
like,
about that, right? I mean,
They're going to see it on the settlement statement.
okay, so,
Yeah.
well, the buyer would.
Yeah.
But the buyer would have to say, hey.
But the buyer's
that's-
got to be aware of it too. The buyer probably,
yeah.
if
They
they're
don't
not
know- they
aware.
may not know the.
I sure hope you
agreement.
wouldn't be practicing
Oh, well,
through
of
that
course.
lens. Oh my
I'm
goodness.
I'm just saying that
Um,
there's, it's like
There's definitely
how do buyers know?
some agents out there with some commission breath.
Well, here's something that I found also to be super interesting. Let me see if I can find it quickly. So it's now the thing where you have to sign an agreement with every buyer, and buyers are actually very unaware of this. And in fact, you see article after article. There was just an article last week from Market Watch that said, "I'm buying a house. My real estate agent asked me to sign an exclusive contract. Is this the new normal?" And if you go onto Reddit and you troll some of the subreddits, you're going to see that buyers really are confused by this. In fact, we highlighted a story a few weeks ago where the buyer was actually told by their parent to run, like the agent is scamming you, run. And so buyers aren't aware of this, by and large. But what this commission survey also revealed is that agents, now keep in mind, not all agents are realtors, so not all agents are bound by this new rule change, but the majority of us that are out there practicing and showing houses, especially in MLS areas, we are realtors. And what this study also uncovered is that not all agents are getting their buyers to sign an agreement. So
That doesn't surprise me at all.
there was a stat, and I'm trying to find it.
But I thought it was illegal to show a house.
Well, not all real estate agents are
agents are
realtors. So there's
realtors.
that,
Gotcha, so we don't
caveat
know.
there. 23% of agents and brokers said they did not sign a buyer agreement with any clients post settlement.
That's 1 in 4.
Sizable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big percentage.
So, are they following the rules? Are they unaware of the rules? Probably.
Yeah, because the
Or
fine's
there's just no
fine's
one-
pretty stiff, right? In
I mean, there's
most
no.
places.
Yeah, but who's going out
policing
there?
it?
Policing it.
Policing
How
it.
do you know if that's something that you
That's
said
a really
what
all
I
that's
was
a really
talking about. I'm
hard-
like, how are you going to police this? There's
You'd almost have
like-
to be set up, I would think.
Yeah.
or you have to do like what California is doing. You have to you
Show
have
it.
to have it, and you have to show it with your
With offer.
offer. So I wonder if that's going to
It's
happen.
interesting stuff, and definitely the industry is changing a little bit. You know, Rob Hahn just did a deep analysis going like back like a couple decades, looking at transaction count, and you know, he actually was analyzing the numbers, and agents are making way less now, especially when you adjust for inflation. And that's largely due to the transaction count being so low, which, you know, this year now I think the revised forecast is 3.84 million home sales. Super low, very lean times. How is that impacting your business? Like, you know, are you doing less deals this year than you were last year? And what do you feel about 2025? Are you feeling optimistic? Do you think that there will be more home sales? Are things going to pick up? Yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, if you're, obviously this is very near and dear to our hearts because I think we all live, sleep, eat, breathe real estate. Yeah. And transaction count is a driver of, you know,
it's one of the most
history will
metrics.
tell you that after the year after the election, it definitely does go higher.
Yeah, it releases.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. But I mean, we're seeing. I mean, they just had the Fed reduce the interest rate 0.5 or 5 or 50 basis points, and we're seeing interest rates going up.
I know.
So, yeah.
Is that fear though? I mean, that's right.
It's called manipulation. That's what it's called.
Okay. I don't disagree.
Yeah, you wonder. So Redfin just came out with a report that said home buyers lost $33,000 in purchasing power in the past 6 weeks as mortgage rates went up to 7%. We're now at a 7 handle again.
Yes, I know.
Sucks.
Yeah, and I mean that's really crazy when you think about it, right? Because I mean $33,000. I mean when you're talking about a house, isn't like crazy, but like let's just say that you're in a $350,000 price bracket. That's sizable,
significant,
right? You're almost in a different level of home, like 350 to 400. You're borderline different home.
Yeah, you're in $1 million one. It's not going to be the big.
No.
The 250 to 350. That's where it really hurts these home buyers, and that's the majority of home sales,
absolutely.
Right? That meet the 350 to 400 price range.
So our son came in and he was talking to me last night, and he was really excited because he's 19 and one of his friends who's also around the same age, 19, just purchased a home on an assumable or a wrap or something. But anyway, that he was able to utilize that seller's, 3% interest rate or whatever, and had a super low payment, and he was really excited about it, and said that it took like over 250 different calls or something. So I'm not sure what his friend did, but his friend was obviously like, trying to find the needle in the haystack. But there are individuals with really low interest rates that are selling. And so, keep in mind that if you're looking to buy a home, yes, in today's interest rate, your purchasing power is down, but you could potentially buy a home and assume someone else's low interest rate.
Yeah. I don't want to tell people how to trigger due on sale clauses, but there's no question. I mean, I know I've personally bought a fair amount of houses underneath wrap type structures to where there's even a seller carry, right? Depending on what is allowed with that particular loan, you can have a 3.5% rate, get charged a 5% rate. So now they're making money on the actual payment, right? So they're carrying your money at 5.5%, 6%, only paying 3.5%. Now, again, word to the wise though, do remember in certain mortgages, make sure you check that out, because there is a due on sale clause that could be triggered if they found out.
Yeah, absolutely. But we know that having a low interest rate is an asset. There was a recent post on Reddit, and the person said, "Am I stupid to sell my house instead of rent it out at a 2.75% rate?"
Depends on what you can get for
swing
it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say yes.
And it depends on if you need your
cash,
the money out of the house.
That's most people's problems.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You have, then you have to figure out how you can go purchase a new home or get into a new.
And I think a lot of people are just going, you know what, I'm just going to sit tight.
Yep.
Well, they'll be like, yeah, I want to move, but it's I got my $2,000 a month payment.
Yeah.
Do I want to move and go up to a $6,000 a month payment?
Yeah.
And is it that much of a change in living condition?
Sounds like you're speaking from experience.
Well, yeah.
we go this is our conversation. we're like, oh man, like our house payment is so low, and if we were to go buy a new home, it would go way up. And
Remember, it's the rule applies to everything. The ones who hold the longest end up winning the biggest.
Yeah.
are you giving like crypto advice?
I just
Keith?
want to buy more Bitcoin.
That's just life.
Yeah.
I mean, not unanimously, but in I would say in most scenarios.
That's funny. That's what Kyan said. He goes, I should go find one of those assumables. I'm like, yeah, do it. And he goes, but then I'd have to sell Bitcoin. I don't want to sell some Bitcoin.
Well, I mean, I think we should chop that up for a second because, Jay, what you brought out is such a valid point where there's so many people that could cash flow their property. But then you're talking about liquidating 401k, selling off stocks, bonds, whatever that they have, right? And I'm talking like, normal upper middle class type family, right? Because a lot of them don't have the cash to go put 20% down on their next property. Mm-hmm. So that money's going to come from their existing mortgage. And here's the other, I think, real kicker. In order to probably get the house that they want to make the payment affordable, they need the majority of their equity, right? So they're going to have to put 30% or 30%, 35, 40% down, which is almost probably all of their equity from their existing asset that's tied up in their house.
It's just too bad you can't like bring your rate with you.
You can port your mortgage rate.
I know.
Yeah, like in the UK.
I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised a product hasn't been created like that here.
I mean, it would change the
game
market.
changer.
It does. It would change the market. Look
would
at all the
definitely.
mortgage-backed securities, and what would that do?
Oh yeah.
Pack up your mortgage, put it on your back.
Unless
let's
it
go
was
find a new
unless it
place.
was pre-approved
Yeah.
like that when you first got the mortgage, there's no way.
I understand we have a game today we're gonna play.
All right.
right.
Chris is gonna say, all right, what game are we playing?
Each person is going to have a Zoodealio or real estate related item placed on their forehead that they are not allowed to see. They are going to ask the other 3 yes or no questions to figure out what it is.
Okay.
So is this what I'm doing this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is real estate / Zoodealio 100%.
Yes,
Okay. Well, that's a yes or no question.
it is. Yeah, you should ask it.
Is there any green in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it the Zoodealio monkey?
Yes.
What? Is
That
it?
was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Z.
I mean that it was right.
How did you get that? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't know where to start.
I'm like, is there a mirror in here?
No, I swear.
Oh, he can see it.
No, I couldn't.
I already looked.
There's no
I
way.
believe you.
I already
I
looked.
swear.
I couldn't see it.
Dang,
Yeah.
dude. That was
I
crazy.
That was
already
just
looked.
pure effing luck.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
I already looked for him, and I'll to see if you can see
Okay.
it. Oh my gosh. Is it Zoodealio related?
No.
No.
Oh boy. But it's real estate related.
Yes.
At some level. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Yes. Yes or no? Yes. Or no?
This is so wide. Is it transaction related?
No.
No.
Is it direct house related?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it inside or outside the house?
That's not a yes or no question.
Are we governed to yes or no's only?
I mean, it would
Is it inside?
Because you can't really, they can't
Yes.
answer that one.
Wait, what?
No.
Is it? No, it's not inside.
Is it
It
outside?
could be.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. I guess it could be. Yeah.
Well, okay.
There is an inside.
Thanks, Chris. You gave me a fucking dirty one.
I just look at based on the photo. Sorry.
Okay, so it's outside.
Based on the photo, yes.
Yes.
Is it residential outside?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would this be considered front yard?
Yeah.
Backyard?
Yeah.
It could be.
looks
It
like
could
the
be.
front
It could
yard.
be. It could be in the front yard or the backyard.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Is it alive?
No.
Could be.
Yes.
Oh fuck! I'm like getting wrong. I'm like getting conflicting answers from
It's
the
just
audience.
up
here.
to
This is fucked
interpretation.
up. I'm like, maybe, kinda.
What is the season of the
That's what
the
is it
season
a
that
tree?
we're in right now?
It-
We're near Halloween. Things are spooky.
Oh, is it a pumpkin?
No, it's not a house.
Okay.
A pumpkin's
Yeah.
not
Outside. Is it? You said it's alive. Okay. Is it green?
I think we have a time limit.
I know.
Come on, you can do
Look
it.
at it.
You can do it.
Oh fuck. Oh my gosh.
I bet you wish you got the first one. All right. Is it Zoodealio or real estate related?
Real estate.
Oh, wait. Sorry. That wasn't a yes
That's
or
all
no
right.
question.
I mean, it is, yes.
Is it relating to the transaction?
Yes. That's a tough question to answer.
I don't even know. But it's related to the real estate transaction.
It is.
Is it-
I mean, it is not related to the real estate
Related.
transaction, but it very much so has to do with that.
These are
Is-
yes and no questions.
Is it?
I know. Well, I'm trying to be nicer than you guys were to me.
Is it a? Is it a purchase price? Is it a house price?
No.
Is it an interest rate?
No.
Nope.
No. Is it a mortgage?
No.
You're getting colder.
So it's real estate related. Is it a real estate company?
Yes.
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 Is it Zoodealio?
No.
No.
Is it?
Well, it's not a real estate company.
But
You
you're
just all
on the
said
right track.
yes.
It's on the right. You're
yeah.
you're very much so on the track.
I,
It's not a
if
brokerage.
I would.
Is it
it-
Zillow?
Yeah, but it's still.
Is it a company like Zillow?
No.
No.
Is it a company?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it a publicly traded company?
No.
I was about to say I don't know.
I had to think about that one, but no.
Yeah.
Is it a real estate brokerage?
No.
No.
It's a perfect one for you. I'll give you a huge tip with that.
Would I know this company?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Do I talk about this company?
All the
Yes.
time.
But it's not a brokerage,
No.
and it's not a real. It's like not a publicly traded real estate company.
No.
Nope.
Is it a mortgage company?
No.
And it's not Zoodealio.
No.
Nope.
And is it trade and holding?
No.
No.
You guys, I'm so lost.
Come on, you can get it. You're on the
um,
think.
You even said it today.
I've said it today.
I mean,
do you not know if
it's
this
absolutely
is a
a company.
company?
Therefore, they make profit.
It's an organization.
Is it NAR?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah!
I knew as soon as I
It's,
said it.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
that's why I was trying to not be like.
Oh, that was tough.
Oh my God,
wow.
that's so funny.
That is so funny. Okay.
Did you do that on purpose?
It just worked out.
Oh, that's funny.
Is it Bitcoin?
No.
Yeah, no.
Is it Zoodealio related or real estate related?
Both. I mean, that's
That's a good answer.
Is it
Both.
cash offers?
no.
Nope.
Is it one word or two words?
One
It's
word.
one word.
Good question.
That's you can't ask questions like that.
Is it
He's
one
gonna
word?
trick us. Yes or no?
No. Dang it.
Yes. It's yes, it's one word.
Is it 5 letters?
No.
No.
Is it more than 5 letters?
Yes.
This is too hard. This is not.
It's very
not
hard.
Easy. Is it a house? Is it
No.
I don't know.
Has to do with one.
Has to do with one. Earnest money?
No.
Is
No.
it?
It's not part of the transaction.
You give me
You're on the right. No, he's too close.
You
He
were
can-
on
he
the
can
right
get it.
track with
with what?
I can't tell you.
Remodeling.
That's what you said, yes.
Very on the right track.
Okay. Is
In
it
relation to.
um?
Maybe like a person.
Is it a contractor?
Yes.
That sounds like a
I was
roll.
like, out of all the things, how did Jay get that one?
Thanks so much for tuning in. As always, remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so that you are notified every time we drop a new episode. Thanks so much.
Thanks.